Right, I'm hoping that's live. I'm just checking on Facebook, nothing yet. But hopefully, hopefully it'll happen very soon. Why isn't it coming up on Facebook? That's what I want to know. I'll just have a refresh of that and see if that works. So we don't want to... Okay, it's supposed to be live on Facebook. I have no idea why it isn't. Perhaps it'll appear at some point. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, if you are there, and hopefully you're on YouTube anyway, which is probably more sensible. I always find Facebook difficult. I can't watch it while I'm doing these things because what happens is that you hear it as sort of, it's late. So things that I think I'm doing and I try and look, I can't actually see because, I don't know, I still can't see it on my page, which is a little bit worrying. And I don't know why I haven't. Let's just do that and see if that works. And see if we're actually there. Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are finally live on Facebook as well. So that's great. So thank you. Hi, Margaret. You're joining from Dublin. Oh, how lovely. How nice to see you. That's brilliant. And so many things I've rather lost what I was looking at there. Hello, Margaret, other Margaret, two Margarets. And Geraldine, hello, you've finally figured out how to watch me live. Well done. You're not good, but don't worry. I don't think any of us are very good at technology. And the technology keeps flipping changing all the time. So yes, Margaret M, you're in Dublin at the moment. Okay, not in Sligo at the moment. Right. You're on Facebook and you can see me there. That's great. So I know it is actually working on Facebook as well. Fantastic. And Arden, lovely. Hello, nice to see you again today. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, I've just had the notification that I'm live. Always a bit delayed, isn't it, these things? I love technology if it works. Anyway, today, what are we going to do? Let me just swap so you don't see my horrible face. Let's get down to the desk, which should be the right way around. Yes, I think it is for once. And and today I'm going to make some torn aperture cards. There's been quite a few of them sort of dotted around on Facebook and Pinterest and things, but I thought I'd go through how to make some really simple ones because I don't believe in anything too complicated. And I'm using today the Fruit Salad DSP. Now, this is one of the free things you get with a £55 order from Celebration this year. And it's rather lovely. It's got this gorgeous pink, which for those of you joining me in my Craftalong live on Zoom on Thursday, please do join me there. The Zoom link is on the website somewhere. I can't remember where. I think it's somewhere on the Craftalong blog page, or it's in the email that I send out. So do sign up for my emails and you get my Craftalong information. So I'm using this one there anyway. But there's loads. This pair here. So we're showing backs and fronts of all of these papers. There's so many of them. Lots of different fruit. Oh, that one's that one and that one. For some reason, one of these is the wrong way around. Pineapples, oranges and lemons. Oh, more pineapples. This one's nice. I've used that in a card for the Craftalong as well. And this one I'm using today with, I think it's kiwi fruit. Do you reckon that's kiwi fruit? I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's kiwi fruit. More oranges and lemons and apples. Oh, I should have used that one perhaps. Bananas and mixed fruit. So loads of different papers in here. And as I say, it is free with an order at the moment. Now, today, they've just announced there are some new Celebration items. So I'll be talking about those in my email at the end of the week. But yeah, just have a look. If you're a demonstrator, you can go on and have a look anyway. There are also loads, I can't tell you how many, but loads of new online exclusives. I have to admit, I am struggling slightly to cope with it all because to me, there's too many new things come out at once. And I'm not sure why they're doing it that way. It seems a bit daft. But anyway, mango. It could be mango, Margaret. Okay. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to use what I'm using for this. So I'm using these bits. So torn aperture cards. Basically, these are cards with a sort of torn area at the front that shows a picture behind it. And that is what the card is about. So for this, I'm making I'm making three very simple cards, to be honest. So I am using a normal card base. Now, in the blog that's coming out later on today, when I put the pictures in, I've suggested that you actually cut your A4 sheet in half long ways, because when you do make a card, a landscape card, it stands up better if it's a long ways one. I think all these, because I had the bases cut for something else, so I just used them. But I've used them this way around. But I think normally, because if you cut it this way, which is half A4 cut in the middle with through the long side, I'm suggesting you cut the A4 through the long bit, because it folds over that way, but long and thin. I hope I'm probably getting in a mess about this. I haven't got a long thin bit to show you because I haven't got a base made that. But if it's that way round and opens here, it stands up a lot better than if you use this one and stand it up. But I'm just going to make them like this today. So ordinary size base, folded in half and burnished. And then you want a piece of DSP, which is 14.3 by 10 centimetres, or 4 inches by 5¼ inches if you are working in American cardstock. So that just fits on the front with a little gap all the way round. Then you also need, I've actually done a lot of fussy cutting, as you can see. You also need a piece of white. Now, I like to save card where I can. A lot of people would cut the card the same width and then tear it and then move it and trim it. I think it's a lot easier to just trim it first. And I find 6 centimetres, or what's that in inches? I've completely forgotten. 2¼ I think it is. 2¼ or 2½ inches is just right for a piece to do the tearing with. So I would actually trim your bit of basic white card down to do that. Now, I haven't got any of the two-tone cardstock, but the other thing that's updated today is the Last Chance products, and there is a lot of two-tone cardstock for sale in the Last Chance products. So have a look there if you're interested in that, because this particular technique looks really, really good with the two-tone cardstock. But I am just going to do a very plain one, just using basic white. And the key is in how you can tear them. And there are innumerable different ways of tearing them. But I'm going to show you a really simple horizontal tear, show you what it looks like. So to tear our basic white, and it does tear very easily, find roughly the middle and put your thumbs at both sides and use your fingers at the back to control the tear. So I'm just going to tear this basically roughly in half, and I'm just moving my thumbs down at the front and my fingers down at the back and just tearing it very carefully, just using my fingers. This is just going to be a horizontal tear, so I'm more or less coming down the middle. Doesn't matter if it's a bit bumpy, that's the whole point. And if you look closely, I hope we can show with this, can you see it's got a sort of rough edge where we've torn it off? We've sort of torn the top layer of cardstock, if you like. So this one has the cardstock going to the top. If you turn it over, you get the same effect with the rough edge. So totally up to you how you then put the card together. I personally would probably turn it over so that I've got 2 rough edges. It means that the bubbles don't match so much. It doesn't matter. This is a torn card, so it really doesn't matter. But I hope that's, can you see the sort of edge to that? Somebody let me know if you can actually see it's got that sort of edge. And if we turn it over and show you the other side, it hasn't got that sort of rough edge on it. It's still got where it's torn, but there's the white card goes up to the end, whereas here you've got like the top layer of the card torn off. I hope that's fairly obvious. So to put the card together, really, really simple. We're just going to stick the DSP down. So I don't think there's an up or a down on here. It looks sort of like green carrots, to be honest, this piece of DSP. Not sure what it's supposed to be, but it looks a little bit like that. And for these torn cards, you can raise these on dimensionals if you wanted to give you more depth on the card. I actually think it's just as good to make it flat, and then I can put other embellishments on without worrying that it's going to make the card too deep to post. So because I've cut this the same width as the DSP, I'm not sticking it right to the top of the card. I'm sticking it so that the edge is level with the edge of the DSP. Okay, and the same with this piece. So I've decided which way round I want to have it. And we're just going to stick that bit on. And actually, I was going to stamp it before I put it on, but never mind. I'm just going to have to be very good with my stamping, which is fine. So there is what I mean by a torn aperture card. So you've got this as if it's just been torn and revealed what's underneath, which I just think is rather a nice look, to be honest. And then from the same DSP, I went mad and I've cut loads and loads of bits of fruit and things. So I'm just going to stick those on. I'm going to stick some of them on flat, and I shall stick some of them on with dimensionals. So I'm not going to worry too much about this, but I cut one right from the edge of the paper that I can put against the edge of there. And then I've got, oh, this is my, just cut those three out together. I've got a banana, I've got some, oh, I've got loads. What should we put on? We'll have a bit of watermelon. Just like that, I think. And a couple of strawberries. Yeah, we'll have a couple of strawberries. I can always add more of these later if I wanted, but I just want to show you very quickly. I hope you're grateful I've done all the fussy cutting before I actually started this, because, yeah, there's a lot of fussy cutting in this. It's a shame they don't come with dies. I wonder if they're going to bring dies out at some point for those. They may. But some of these, like this little group here, I think I might put some on dimensionals. Just a couple. It's only DSP. It doesn't need too much to hold that weight. Oh, can't reach my bin. Just slight move around and everything's not quite in the right place. I think we'll have to have 2 slices of watermelon like that, actually. Yeah, just like that. There we go. And should have a banana on there as well, or a bit of kiwi fruit. Let's have a bit of kiwi fruit. Just have that on. A bit of kiwi fruit just overlapping there. So just anything here. Now, if you can't be bothered fussy cutting stuff, and I don't blame you. Oh, good. Thank you, Geraldine. I've just seen that you said that the rough edge is clean. You can see it. Excellent. So you can see the idea that I had. So you can always stamp an image. You could put a stitch-shaped circle on there with a stamped image if you don't want to be fussy cutting all bits like that. And then I just need, what have I got here? Magnolia Mood with Happy Birthday. That'll do. We'll make it a happy birthday card. Why not? So just need my memento. Could have chosen one of the ink pad colours from the fruit, but just for speed again, I think we'll have it down here at the bottom. Happy birthday. There we go. So there is the first card. And obviously it's important to, I'm going to decorate the middle of it as well. So I'll probably use a bit more of that fruit there, and possibly a bit more on the envelope, because don't forget to decorate your envelope. And to finish it off completely, oh, where have I put those? I've lost the, oh, there they are. Oh, no, that's an empty bag. Either use some gems, or these gems I do. These are ink colour gems from somewhere, but they'll match okay, I think. Well, they need to be a bit darker, really. What else have I got? Let's just use some of these. I think we'll use blue. I can't, is there any blue fruits? Well, blueberries, I suppose. It's open at the side anyway. Let's just get that out. Come on out, little thing. There we go. Yeah. I can't remember which gems these are, but they will just do for what I want for this. Or you could put a little bit of ribbon on, or where should we put the other one there, I think. Oop, little turnover. Doesn't want to go down, that one. Obviously doesn't want to stick there. There we go. So just a couple of little gems just to finish it off. And that is my first torn aperture card. Okay, so really simple to make, and particularly if you've got the right measurements, always helps. But that's why you can see you could do this with a full sheet and just tear a bit out the middle. But why? Why not just make it the 6 centimeters? And yeah, works well. So that's the first one. So we can tear it, of course, in different ways. So I've got a different sheet of DSP here, which is the pineapple one. So I'm just going to stick that on the front of the card first. Oh, now somebody's ringing the doorbell. I'm hoping somebody from my family can actually go and deal with that. Oh, yes, there is somebody moving, thank goodness. Right, so the second one I want to do is you can obviously tear this in different ways. You can be quite rough and jagged and have sort of zigzaggy lines going up the middle, or you can tear it. You can tear it in. It's coming. Somebody's coming. Yeah, he's coming. That's the postman knocking on the window. Sorry. So fast and easy. Great design for a beginner to try. Absolutely. These, I think, are really simple cards. The fussy cutting possibly isn't, but as I said, you can use any other image and any anything you want really to as the pattern on top of it. But I think one of the other important things, and I'm going to be interested to see if this works as well, because I think you need quite a bright DSP at the back, but we'll just see what this one looks like. So this time I'm going to tear it from corner to corner. I wouldn't start right at the very corner. I'm going to start just underneath the corner. I actually want a little bit to make sure I can still stick that little edge down. So again, using my thumbs at the front and my fingers at the back, just tearing across so I can now have that sort of pattern. Okay, so this time, difficult to turn that round or you get that, but why not? You could have that sort of pattern, but I'm just going to use it this way round this time because I want to make sure I get glue in the very corner to make sure it sticks down. So again, I've cut this at the same size as my DSP, so I can use the DSP to line my card up to stick it in the right place. And again, just trying to get right into that little tiny corner that I've torn. Which is why I needed to leave a little bit on the corner so that I could get it right in there. Stick it right down like that. And there we have a diagonal tear there. So again, you can tear this in so many ways. You could tear it as a, as a sort of V shape in the middle. Just as long as you use your thumbs on the front, your fingers at the back, you can control exactly where that tear goes. So for this one, I think again, we'll have a pineapple, but I think I'm going to put him up on some dimensionals. Oh, hang on, I'm going to reach my bin a bit closer. I'm not sure why it's miles away across there. Yeah, we'll have it on this side again. So again, you could have something completely different on the front, any image you want. Flowered DSP with flowers at the side here. There's so many options. I think I'll stick with a sort of orange and yellow theme for this one, I think. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that paper just works just quite as well. What do you think? And the reason I'm saying that is that it's not, the background is too near basic white, and I think it just doesn't stand out just as well as this one, where you've got more colour in it. Still nice, I still like it. I shall still use this card, no doubt about that, because it'll still be lovely. But it's interesting, isn't it? Just comparing the different ways you can do this. So I'm going to have that little bit of orange sticking out like that behind my dimensional one. I might stick some more fruit on later, but I won't worry too much about that. And this time, let's use... Oh, what should we do here? I've got a happy birthday again, but I could use something different. I just grabbed this some set of words, so I don't know. Let's stick with happy birthday then. Where's that? There. So just stick that over there for a minute. So again, I could stick it direct on here, but I think this time, quickly find a scrap of basic white there. I think I'm actually going to stamp it here. And cut it out. So I can either cut round the letters or I might just trim it for speed. Let me just drink my coffee because it's going cold again. I tried to make it early enough so I had drunk it before we started, but I completely forgot. So you can see you could tear these in different ways, and I'm going to show you a third card in a minute, which is slightly different and a little bit more complex, but it's still fine. So let me just trim this down using the edge of my trimmer to make sure my cut edges are straight. I could have die cut it out, obviously, and had an edge around it. Let me just show you, by the way, what you can do. If this pencil works, let's just check. Oh, won't work on there. There was my scrap that I just threw away. Just checking my... See that pen? I'm glad I tried it because that one doesn't work. Let me find one that does. Oh, that one's no good. Honestly, I've got enough flipping pens in here. One of them must work. There we go. There's one that works. Just throw that rubbish away again. So one simple way to just add something, if it's too plain, which I think it is there. Obviously, I could put a coloured background behind it, which is one of my favourites. But sometimes just by eye, you can use a ruler if you're really OCD about this. But just by eye, just putting a little line of dashes and dots around will give you a nice little border. Doing this really quickly. You can obviously spend more time, and as I say, use a ruler to make sure these lines are straight. I'm going to keep it a bit rough and ready here. I did do a blog a little while ago showing you different ways to use outlining to really show, but that just adds a little bit, just brings it out. So now I haven't lost my dimensionals, which are sitting in front of me. You can just bung that up on some dimensionals as well. I'll have it down in this corner. And there we have a second card. So two made exactly the same way, just torn in a different direction. Again, I might add some gems on that. Certainly put some of the fruit inside to decorate the inside and the envelope. But I want to get on and show you a third card and a third way to use this technique. And this is slightly different. Whoops. I cut a whole load of those, whatever they are, mangoes or kiwi fruit. And for this one, again, you need your normal card base, which is, yeah, that's the best front. And again, I've cut the DSP to exactly the same size, a little bit less. And again, I am going to, I haven't lost my glue, here it is, stick this on as the background. So I've got this green again. It's slightly different green than the other one, but slightly different pattern, but it's a nice bright pattern, which is important. So I've got my background. This time I've actually cut my front bit that I'm going to tear exactly the same size as a card front. So it'll cover the whole card front, because this time I'm going to tear the middle of the card and then roll it up. You'll see what I mean as I do it, hopefully. So for this one, you want to imagine your card in roughly thirds. So around a third of the way along. Again, I am going to tear in exactly the same way as I did before. So just being careful to tear in a fairly straight line as much as I can. But this time I am not going to tear right down. I'm only going to come to about here, roughly a third from the end, about a quarter of the length from the end. So I'm tearing 3/4 of the card. So I'm going to come to the third at the top. Again, using my thumbs in front and fingers behind, I'm going to tear another bit here, just parallel to the first one and as far down the card as again. So it now looks really tatty, doesn't it, this piece here? Don't worry, we're going to get there. So this middle piece, I'm going to use my bone folder and just break down the fibres a little bit, just by scraping my bone folder round, and I'm going to do it that way and then turn it and do it the other way. So I'm breaking the fibres in both directions, not on the two end bits, but on this middle bit. And I'm going to finish with it coming towards what I want to be the front of the card, which is, doesn't really matter, I think this way, like that. Okay. And what we're going to do is roll it up. So the best way I've found to do it is, first of all, just fold over the end as tiny as you possibly can. So you've got a little flap like that, something like that. And then we're just going to roll it up by rolling it across itself. And you want to keep this fairly tight because you don't want it to become too bulky, because obviously this is going to provide bulk on this card. If you find it is too bulky and you don't want to post it because it's too bulky, then what you can do is cut this off in the middle and make it a smaller roll, and that just makes it slightly less bulky. But if you keep it folding in all the way, and it doesn't matter if it's not quite a round roll, if you like, I've got sort of two flat bits, and you roll it to the end where you've torn it to. So if I hold it, oops, coming out. Well, you want to hold it tight. Just pull it back in again and show you what I mean. I'm going to try and hold it sideways, and that obviously wasn't going to work, but I can hold it there. So you can see I've made it a sort of flat cylinder. Yeah, I haven't rolled it as a circle. Want to keep it fairly roll it around your pokey tool. No, I don't want to make it a circle. I want to make it more of a cylinder shape. So I find folding it is better, and that means it adds just slightly less dimension to the card itself. And then the final one, to take it to the end of the tear, and then without letting go of my nice tight roll, I'm just going to put a little line of glue behind it, perhaps a little bit wider than that. There we go, and stick it down. So I'm going to hold this because it needs to be held. You could, if you wanted, put some glue on it so as you rolled it, it actually sticks together. I don't think it gives you exactly the same result, to be honest. So I think this way works okay. So now I've got my rolled bit stuck down like that. And you can do all sorts with this particular sort. So again, this goes on the front, and this time I've got it coming away from the edge. I've got it fitting the whole edge. It's up to you whether you do it this way or cut it down to be the same size as your card there. I don't know. I'm just wondering, I might trim mine down actually. Yeah, I might. Do you know what? I might have this the same size as my paper. Doesn't really matter. So that would be 14.3 by 10. There. So now mine is the same size as my DSP, so I can stick it to my DSP as before, which is fine. So again, I'm going to stick this down. And again, you can decorate it then how you want. But I always think this looks a little bit like a secret message, as if you've torn this back to find a secret message. So a very nice way of doing this one, just stick this on and I will explain a bit more. So lining it up again with the corners of the DSP. Make sure it covers it. There we go. So now we have the card looking like that. And you could obviously do this from either side, whichever side you want. But a nice way to do this, I've got so many of these out. Let me just put some of these away before I get lost with it. Put that there. And I've got, again, this one just from, it's like going to fit on my, just about fit on there, to be honest. I'm going to do this lined up on my desk. So these long thin stamps are very, very good at not staying straight. So I'm going to use the lines on my pad here, on my glass mat, to line that up as much as I can. There we go. And then I can pick it up on my block, and we know it's straight, which is good. Now I need a little thin bit of from my scraps box. Why can you never find a really thin bit that you want? Ooh, that one. It's in the wrong section. There we go. Oh, more bits in the wrong section. I've only got thick bits. Have I only got thick bits? That is not, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's gold, that's why. I was going to say that's not basic white. So many bits and not a really thin bit to be found. That's ridiculous. Well, I might have to cut one down. I'll have to use a thicker bit. I normally have some really quite thin bits on there, which would have matched this, but never mind. We'll just have to cut it down. So, just going to ink that up. Stamp it down towards one side here. And I didn't get that down at all, so we'll turn over and use the emergency side. I managed to move it as I was stamping it, which is really mad. Okay, that's better. So let me just cut this down now. Oh, just put that over there. I still haven't finished my coffee, honestly. What am I like? Now it's a bit cold. Okay. So I'm going to cut it this way first. And then we will cut it this way. Try and make it straight. I love that our trimmers have the lines on them so that we can see if things are straight. There we go. So I can now stick that in here, and it's as if it's been revealed by turning back that. Again, I'm just going to use ordinary glue to stick this down, because obviously it wouldn't be on dimensional, so I wouldn't have been able to roll that back. So I'm going to say makes the world a better place and try and get it straight, even though the lines on the paper are not very straight. And what makes the world a better place? I think love does. If I can only find the word love. There we go. I'm just going to clean that stamp before I put it away. It's a little bit dirty on this end. I've got a little blob of glue of memento on one end, which wasn't very good. So, what do you think? Do you like these ones? Do you think it would be good? Good one to do? So I'm going to have my love here. So we read, love makes the world, that's not straight, never mind. Love makes the world a better place. You get the idea. Oh, what can I say? I'm still recovering from Storm Eowyn. Although we're absolutely fine now. But some people didn't even get their electricity back. And I know I've got a friend in the south, and she still hasn't got her electricity back. I think it's going to be about the, when is it? I think about the 6th of February. When's that? Thursday before hers is due back, which is awful. Hello, Jenny. How nice to see you. Greetings from South Africa. Yeah. So for this one, I'm just again going to use a few little decorations, but this time more around the outside and allowing this to just reveal the words. So I'll just do a couple quickly. Again, I can finish it later rather than bore you all with just sticking things on. But you'll get the idea. So we'll have a couple of these. So that one going that way. I'll have a big one over there. No, I have one up there, I think. So again, just loads of bits here just to balance it. So because I've got words in that top left corner, I'm going to put my decorations in those two opposite corners because it just balances the card a little bit. We've got this here. And to finish that off, I don't think I've got, oh, I have actually. Look at that, lying here on the desk. I've got a little twine bow, which seems to have lost an end of it, obviously. Where's the other end from that? There it is. I have no idea which project this was from, but as it's here, I'm going to use it. So I've got a little twine bow, which I'm just going to stick on top of my roll. Right, find some glue dots. Here's some from the kit. I love the fact that you get so many things like glue dots in a kit. So I'm just going to have that in the middle, stick my glue dot down there. And then my twine is quite thin, so I'm just going to use my pokey tool to just roll the glue dot so that it just fits behind the knot and doesn't stick out and stick onto anything else. So there is my third card. Just arrived, Emmalou. Hello, nice to see you. Yeah, I've been making these cards. I'll show you them all now. So this one is the one with, I called it well, I've called them all torn aperture cards. I've no idea if there's a proper name for them or anything, but this one I like the idea of rolling something up and making it look a little bit like a scroll that you've torn over to show the words. I just quite like those sort of things. And the other two I've made, not finished, because I can stick some more fruit on in a minute. You can use a piece and just tear it in half. So you've got a horizontal aperture one and the other one with torn diagonally. So you've got a diagonal aperture one. So these are let me just move some of these bits of fruit. I'll worry about them all later. There are my 3 cards from today. I hope you like them. It's a lovely idea, these torn aperture cards. I think they're so simple to make, but so effective. It looks like you've spent ages doing something here and all you've been doing is tearing up some paper. So yes, why not do it this way? How is your hip, Margaret? Yes, how is your hip, Margaret? And I hope it's better. Yeah, so Jenny, it's lovely to have you back from South Africa. I hope your weather's been better than ours has. We've been, as you've probably seen in my blog, we've been struggling with storms and things. We were actually away and we were phoning home every 5 minutes to check everything was all right. And my husband's got a weather station and it's stuck onto our fence and we were monitoring the winds and the wind kept blowing and I think we measured a gust of 79.9 miles an hour, which is very strong. And after that, it all went dark. Nothing happened. We couldn't get it to register, and we discovered it was because the fence had been blown down. Ridiculous. Margaret, 2 more weeks in the chair, no physio. I think I'm surprised at that. I thought you probably should have some physio so that you can actually at least use your muscles and keep your muscles strong, because that banana might match on here. I might see the banana on. Because you need that. That's, oh dear. I hope you do get to the onstage meet, because I am looking for you to make it there, because I want to meet you there and I'm really looking forward. So let me know what your arrangements are, and if there's any way we can help or whatever, then please do let me know. I think I'll stick that over there. It doesn't match so much on the back. Perhaps I'll stick something more green next to it. Let's have a kiwi fruit. So I'm fiddling now. And obviously I've used some gems on this one. I'll put some gems on this one probably. And yeah, let's just have a little bit of contrast behind my banana there, because otherwise it's too yellow. I'll have another one. Just slide those in. There we go. Ooh, glue dot top. Yeah, so I don't know when to stop. I might carry on with this, but I need to do the insides as well. But anyway, let us leave it like that. Your husband has a weather station outside on the fence, Emmalou. Yes, well, actually, once we pick the fence up, and the fence is currently just lying against the trees at the bottom of the garden while we wait for somebody to come and mend it, because we need to replace all the fence posts, and it's a long fence. So, yeah, not great. So yeah, so the weather station itself still seems to be working. So we're hoping once the fence is put back up, the weather station will work again, which is great. So, oh, Margaret, what a good idea. The rollback to be nice in vellum. Oh, I like that idea. Good thinking. Thank you. This is why I love these sorts of lives, because I get so many ideas from you. Thank you so much. You had a second break in the femur, and that's why you can't. Oh, right. Oh, no. So you've basically got to wait for that to repair before you can start moving the hip. Oh, dear. What have we got? We've still got 6 weeks. So fingers crossed you might be mobile enough to come. I do hope so. It'd be awful to miss it. Anyway, that is for the future. Let's hope it all works out. As I said, I'm just going to finish these cards with a couple more gems. You can put some ribbon on, up to you how you decorate them. And I'm also going to just put some of the fruit inside and on the envelopes to decorate them. And you'll see the final result when I put it up on the blog, and it will be up not in the not too distant future. So look, folks, thank you so much for joining me today. It's so lovely to see so many of you, and I will see you again next Tuesday when we will be doing a springtime card. And I know it's springtime because next Tuesday is my Tech for Stampers blog hop, the blog hop that I go in every month, and the theme is springtime. What the card will be, you'll have to join me to find out, and I hope you can. So hope to see you again then. Thank you so much. Fab cards, always inspiring, Carol. So nice to have you back on Tuesdays. Thank you, Emily. But I did have a great holiday. I must admit, I feel better for the holiday. But yes, I should be back on Tuesdays for the next few weeks around Strasbourg. I think I'm coming back on the following Tuesday, so we might have to move that one. But otherwise, it will be Tuesdays for the next few weeks. So I will see you next week, folks. And anyone who can, please join me on Thursday at my Zoom Craftalong. The supplies you need for it, it's on Zoom. The Zoom link is on the website. The supplies you need came out in the email. If you need me, drop me an email if you didn't get my email, and I'll send you the supply list. But I hope to see some of you on Thursday. So